All right, let's get right into it. Today we're diving deep into a massive trillion-dollar problem that's hiding in plain sight and slowing down science itself. It's a story about digital chaos, this invisible tax on innovation, and the one elegant idea that could unlock the next huge wave of human discovery.
So, let me ask you something. What do you think is the single biggest barrier holding back the next big breakthrough? You might think it's a lack of funding, or maybe a shortage of brilliant minds. But the real culprit, the thing that's really gumming up the works, is something way more basic. Our most powerful scientific tools. They can't talk to each other.
And fixing this isn't just some tiny little adjustment. We are talking about a potential 90 to 95% reduction in a cost that is absolutely crippling research right now. Just think about what we could do with that. This isn't just about saving money. It's about launching a whole new era of science. Okay, so to really get the scale of this, we've got to talk about the hidden costs. This is a multi-billion-dollar problem. It's like this massive financial anchor that's slowing down the very progress we need in medicine and new materials and just about every other field of technology.
It's kind of like this. Imagine having all the world's best chefs in one giant, state-of-the-art kitchen, but none of their tools work together. One chef only uses metric, another uses imperial. One stove is electric, the other needs gas. What do you get? You get chaos. You get wasted potential. And that, right there, is the reality for so many scientists today. And the price tag for all this chaos? It's staggering. A single large pharmaceutical company, just one, can spend up to $60 billion a year just trying to get their software to play nice. And that's not a one-time thing. That's an annual bleed, every single year. So this huge cost is really just a symptom of a much deeper issue, what we call the platform fragmentation crisis. It's this weird paradox in the world of science, where having more tools is actually leading to less progress.
So what does this crisis actually feel like on a day-to-day basis? Well, imagine you're a brilliant scientist, right? But instead of doing groundbreaking research, you're spending most of your time acting like a digital plumber, just trying to connect dozens of different incompatible software systems that were never ever designed to work together. That is the frustrating reality of this crisis.
And this really gets into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day friction. I mean, researchers are just totally overwhelmed. They're juggling a mess of software licenses, all these different AI tools that don't match up. But the real bottleneck, it's those incompatible APIs. Think of APIs as the digital handshakes that let software share information. When one program expects a Python handshake and another only offers an R handshake, well, everything just grinds to a halt. It's a constant battle.
And here's where all that friction turns into cold, hard cash. Wasted. Those challenges translate directly into billions and billions of dollars down the drain, with up to $45 billion in lost productivity alone. But maybe the most shocking part is that last line. 80 to 90% of research workflows are just underperforming because of this digital mess. It's incredible.
But okay, what if there was a way to finally end all this chaos? That is exactly where the idea of a unified research engine comes in. And it's not about throwing out all these amazing specialized tools. It's about orchestrating them, making them all work together in perfect harmony.
And the difference it makes is, it's like night and day. It's like going from a tangled mess of wires to a perfectly designed circuit board. On the left, you've got the current situation. Manual, slow, super expensive. And on the right, you have a clear, automated path to progress that delivers a massive return on investment.
And this engine, it has to manage a really complex ecosystem of tools. We're not just talking about basic software here. About 72% of these platforms are already beefed up with machine learning, and a growing chunk, about 28%, are what's known as agentic AI systems. You can think of these as AIs that can actually act on their own, kind of like a super-skilled lab assistant, who can make smart decisions and take the next step without being told exactly what to do. The engine's job is to coordinate all of them.
And the result of all this? Well, as the source material puts it, this ecosystem unlocks unprecedented scientific productivity. This is so important. We're not just talking about becoming a little more efficient. We're talking about enabling a whole new level of discovery that was literally impossible before.
So we've talked about the problem, we've talked about the solution. Now let's get to the most mind-blowing part, the numbers. This is where we see the true, absolutely staggering scale of the economic impact here.
The total addressable market for this kind of solution is over $500 billion. Let that sink in. This isn't some tiny niche market. This represents a fundamental shift in the entire economics of science and research.
And look, this isn't some small incremental improvement. We are talking about a 1,000 to 3,000% increase in productivity. That's not an evolution. That is a full-blown revolution in how science actually gets done.
And of course, that massive leap in productivity translates into some pretty incredible financial returns. We're talking about a world where early investors in this kind of unifying technology could see their investment multiply by 140 to 350 times. The value being created here is just immense.
This timeline really tells the story of how quickly this market is just exploding. I mean, less than a decade ago, it was a pretty small area. But as AI has evolved from just simple enhancements to true autonomy, the market has grown exponentially. And we are right at the beginning of what's being called the autonomy era, a potential trillion-dollar opportunity.
So, we've seen the technology, we've seen the incredible numbers. But what does this all actually mean for us? For the future of our health, our planet, and our understanding of the universe? Well, the path forward is a pretty clear 4-step journey. First, we unify all that chaos. Then, we automate the complexity, letting AI do the heavy digital lifting. This, in turn, accelerates discovery, freeing up our brightest minds to do what they do best: science. And finally, we unlock the ability to solve problems that we once thought were simply impossible. And the ultimate payoff here is a complete transformation of science as we know it. We're talking about a quantum leap in the speed of analysis and a massive improvement in the entire discovery pipeline. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a whole new foundation for human progress. Which, of course, leads us to the most exciting question of all. When research is this powerful, this seamless, what becomes possible? What cures will we find? What mysteries of the universe will we finally unravel? The future of discovery is no longer some distant dream. It's right here, finally, within our reach.